Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 26 of the Detroit Lions franchise here on Madden NFL 21. Today we start the NFL Draft, the 2021 NFL Draft, the first draft here in the off season. We're going to do it just like a normal draft. It's going to be separated into 3 parts, day 1, day 2, day 3. So today we're going to focus on round number 1 as we take a look at the team. If you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. We're super close to 150 subscribers. Let's try to get there by the end of the month, shall we? But before we jump in, here is the team. Obviously, we have lots of holes. Couldn't address them all in free agency. Didn't have a lot of cap space. And we have the number 10 overall pick. We have a first, a second, a third, a fifth, and a sixth. No 7. So got to make do with what we got. Here is my draft board. There's a couple names at the top. Jamar Chase and Rashad Bateman make up the top. Here is Jamar Chase. Obviously, number 1 guy I'm targeting. Probably going to go before number 1, however, or before number 10. And then Rashad Bateman may go before number 10, but if we could land him as well, that would be a nice selection. Later on, though, there is Rondale Moore if we miss out on Bateman and Chase. And if we didn't want to go the receiver route, there's Marvin Wilson. Could use some defensive line depth, especially now switching to a 4-3 line. And then there's Micah Parsons with Chandler Jones or Christian Jones regressing. Michael Parsons could kind of fill that same role. So a couple of options. And then Carlos Basham Jr., another lineman we could go if we fall later in the route or decide to trade back or something along those lines. But it is time to start the 2021 NFL Draft. And we are underway. The New York Giants are on the clock. They made a trade with the Titans for the number 1 pick. And it should be fairly obvious now, especially after trading Daniel Jones to the Saints, who they're taking. And they do take Trevor Lawrence, quarterback Clemson, with the number 1 pick. Trevor Lawrence, obviously a stud right out the gate. Nobody's surprised. The tank for Trevor Bowl was a thing. The Titans decided to trade back. And the Giants decided to move on from the Daniel Jones experiment. With the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Penei Sewell, left tackle out of Oregon. If there was no quarterback number 1 in Trevor Lawrence, this guy could obviously go to number 1. A huge talent on the left tackle spot, going to help protect Tua Tagovailoa and extend his career some. Absolutely amazing selection. The third pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings, they select Jamar Chase, wide receiver LSU. So we don't get Jamar Chase. Instead, we're going to have to cover Jamar Chase for quite a long time. Arguably the best overall talent in the draft. He does everything well besides the deep ball. It's going to be a lot of Chase versus Okudah in the future in the NFC North. The fourth pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Washington football team select Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback out of Alabama. Interesting selection here. First DB taken off the board. Football team's been looking for that corner ever since they tried to sign Josh Norman back in 2016. They think they found him here with Surtain. Very good zone corner. Got to work a little better in man, but will be a dominant force for the future. With the fifth pick, the Dolphins back on the clock thanks to the trade with Houston. And they select Shaun Wade. Another corner goes off the board, this time out of Ohio State, following in the lines of Denzel Ward, Jeff Okudah, as Ohio State continues to bring DBs. Another very dominant zone corner. Needs to work on his man coverage, but hopefully he will be just fine. For the sixth pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Gregory Rousseau, defensive end out of Miami. This is somebody that we were targeting, maybe looking at if he fell to us, but the 21-year-old out of Miami is going to be a dominant pass rusher. Jets get a much-needed runner off the line, and he can block shed. He can stop in the run game, so 3-down lineman. Seventh pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Samuel Cosmi. The first kind of questionable pick here out of Texas. Normal dev, 69 overall. He's going to need some development. Probably can start, though, just with the lack of, offensive line talent in the league currently with all these good pass rushers, but not a slam dunk yet. With the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. So our top 2 wide receiver options go off the board. Julian Edelman did retire, and New England looking to replace him with Bateman, who is a phenomenal underneath receiver. He can run the short route, catch the ball in traffic. Your go-to man if you need to convert a third down. Very good selection there. And then with the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears right before us picked Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. We were looking at defensive tackle, but they did not go Marvin Wilson. They went Alabama run stopper Christian Barmore. And he's very good in the run game. Needs to work on his pass moves a little bit maybe, but nice selection by Chicago we got to worry about. And then we get to the 10th pick, which is our pick. So thinking about a couple of options, obviously Marvin Wilson now shoots to the top of our board. Very fast, good pass rusher inside. And then Micah Parsons we're also thinking about, but I don't know. I feel like we want to go a little bit different role in the right outside linebacker. And Parsons kind of reminds me of Jones. So we're going to go with Marvin Wilson with the 10th overall pick out of Florida State. And he is a 76 overall hidden dev. Yes, we found a stud finder apparently. 9th in true talent, and we drafted him the 10th slot. Very happy with this pick. He combines with Danny Shelton, Deshaun Hand, Trey Flowers, Romeo Core, all those defensive line guys, and we just get very strong up front. As you can look at him, nothing he is lacking. Maybe his awareness a little bit, but rookies don't usually come out with the best of awareness, so very good selection. I'm very happy with this pick at number 10. And then with the 11th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Micah Parsons, outside linebacker at Penn State, the other guy we were looking at. And he's going to be a good talent, but I think we made the right call. I think Parsons just fits too much into Christian Jones. Not the best zone corner, more of a run stopper on the edge. And kind of want to get a nice coverage in linebacker, so I'm glad the pick we made. But the Raiders did get a good one. With the 12th pick, the Panthers select left tackle Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama. Another tackle that's, has some work to do. Obviously you want to get protection for your quarterback, and he's good against the run, not the best against the pass, so he will need to develop some, even if it's by trial by fire. And then with the 13th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State. Looks like the Gardner Minshew experiment might be over as Jaguars go Justin Fields. This is actually the pick they got from the Jalen Ramsey trade as well. And he looks like another phenomenal quarterback. Obviously doesn't have the same amount of hype as Trevor Lawrence, but he should be very successful in the league. Then with the 14th pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue. So the third receiver in our round of 3. And Kyler Murray gets another weapon, Rondale Moore, one of the best receivers in college football. Does everything besides the deep route, and it's contested catch a little bit, but will get better obviously over time. Then with the 15th pick, the 49ers select cornerback Israel Mukwamu, the South Carolina rep. Let's go Gamecocks. But very intriguing prospect, one of the most intriguing prospects, 6'4" for the corner position. He's very raw in his coverages, needs to get a lot better, but can play in the slot. That height combination is just something you cannot deny at that cornerback position. Then with the 16th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Might have reached in my mind. I think the Chargers wanted to go corner really bad, and since Mukwamu just went, they went with Farley. Not the worst pick. He is very good in man covers. Might be the best man coverage corner, but his zone is a little suspect. I think it will get better, but it just remains to be seen if it was worth the 16th pick. 17th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers go Corey Durden, defensive tackle out of Florida State. So Marvin Wilson's running mate down there in Seminoles country, as they kind of dominated the run this year. Add that to the Steelers line, who they're looking to improve their defense some more with the upcoming season. 18th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens also go defensive tackle to go Jalen Twyman out of Pittsburgh, so another ACC rep. And Ravens team, very interesting this past year. They started off 0-8 and then finished 8-8. So they lost 8 straight, won 8 straight. Might have been just trying to go best player available. He's very good against the run, so he should definitely contribute in Baltimore. Then with the 19th pick, the Atlanta Falcons, they select right guard Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State, another Buckeye going in the first round. As I think he should do a good job plugging that whole Alex Mack, obviously coming no longer in Atlanta. And he should plug that goal very quickly. One of the best inside linemen. Might need to get a little better in the pass, but he will be just fine. Then with the 20th pick, the Buffalo Bills, they select Kyle Pitts, the first tight end off the board out of Florida. Trying to give Josh Allen some more weapons, give him a nice solid safety blanket. And at 6'6", 21 years old, Kyle Pitts, very fast, very good catcher. Should be just fine for Josh Allen in Buffalo. That'll move on to number 21, where the Jets are on the clock thanks to the Jalen Adams trade. And they select Carlos Basham Jr., obviously one guy we were looking at earlier in the draft. And he's going to be a solid player out of Wake Forest, 23 years old. Nice edge rusher for New York. As they look to go into more defensive, he'll be on the line with Quinnen Williams. Not quite a 3-down lineman just yet, but will be with some time. Then the 23rd pick the 22nd pick, sorry, the Cincinnati Bengals go Creed Humphrey, center out of Oklahoma. Jump my notes a little bit. And I like this selection a lot. I think he's going to be a very good center. Gives Joe Burrow his center of the future, have them build that connection, and will be just fine. So I really like this pick out of Cincinnati. But now we go to the 23rd pick, and the Packers are on the clock. And with the 23rd pick, they select Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson, the replacement for Aaron Jones, who, if you watched the free agent video, go ahead and go watch it if you haven't. But he left in the offseason, so they get his replacement in Travis Etienne. Could have been a first-rounder last year, decided to go back to college. And I think the Packers got a very solid replacement, if not better, for Aaron Jones. That takes us to the 24th pick, and with the Colts, their selection, they select Trey Smith, offensive guard out of Tennessee, another interior lineman to help protect. Now Colin Kaepernick starting in Indianapolis. So they moved on from Phillip Rivers. He's a solid pass blocker, needs to get better in the run game, but a day one starter on the line for Indy. 25th pick, the Denver Broncos, they decide to go Quincy Roche, outside linebacker out of Miami. Another pass rusher off the edge. And that Hurricane defense this past year, very intriguing pick. Not really know what to think. He's very fast, good pass rusher, not quite a 3-down lineman just yet, however. In the 26th pick, the Tennessee Titans, after they trade down for number 1, they go strong safety Colby Harvell-Peel, the first safety off the board. And I like this pick out of Tennessee. Although they were the worst pick in the draft, or a worst team this past year, they really didn't have that much of, a glaring need, maybe some offensive line help, but they decided to, in their mind, go best player available. And I think Harvell-Peel is a nice, solid man for that position. The 27th pick, the Jaguars, with their real pick after selecting Justin Fields earlier, decide with the 27th pick to go Thomas Graham Jr., cornerback out of Oregon. And a nice, solid selection. Jaguars get nice, 2 solid good ones. 5'11", rookie corner. I think he will need some development, but I think he has that development upside to become a solid quarter opposite of Henderson, who they drafted last year. 28th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama, trying to get some more offensive talent, unlike they need it. But I guess Antonio Brown did move on this offseason to Jacksonville. So Jalen Waddle is there to fill his place. He will take the top off the defense. Needs to work on his hands, a little bit Ted Ginn Jr. in my eyes, right off the gate, but something he can improve. 29th pick, the Dallas Cowboys go free safety Hamza Nasir-Dean, and I don't think Cowboy fans will be too happy with this pick because he's not the flashiest of players, but I think if you go a little bit deeper into him, he's a solid player. He's got good range. I think he's more suited for a box safety, maybe a strong safety, because he can lay the hit stick, but very intriguing to see how he does in the Big D. With the 30th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Dylan Moses, linebacker, Alabama. This is somebody I was targeting as a day 2 pick, but Kansas City goes ahead and takes him now. The 22-year-old, 6'3". He is a very good run stopper, but needs to work on his coverage. Reminds me of Jared Davis coming out of school, who is our current backup middle linebacker. Then with the 31st pick, the Cleveland Browns, they decide to take Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver out of USC. Another day 2 guy I was targeting goes at the end of round 1. And going to be able to pair him with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and all the other offensive weapons. Cleveland looking to get more there. Very good underneath. Needs to work on his hands a little bit more in traffic, but has the development to get there. And then with the last pick in the first round, the New Orleans Saints at 32, they select Javon Holland, free safety out of Oregon. You know, with Super Bowl MVP Marcus Williams moving on to free agency, they decided to replace him with Javon Holland. He is a very good center field safety, got great range, good coverage ability, deep downfield, and it'll be very intriguing as the Saints start to rebuild the squad after many players left in free agency and retirement. But that'll bring it to the end of day 1 as we go into day 2, rounds 2 and 3. Take a look at our board. We have a couple guys are targeting some more wide receivers and a center in Josh Myers who could be interesting. But that'll be next episode. We'll take a look at rounds 2 and 3 of the draft. If you enjoyed round 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below and comment. What do you think of our selection of Marvin Wilson at number 10? I would like to know what you guys think. Who also busted? Who do you think got a great draft steal? Let me know all that down below, but thank you guys so much for watching. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.